I started throwing frisbees in 1968, and for several years it was pretty much just a throwing game back and forth. And I became involved with disc golf for the first time in 1977. That was my first tournament, by the way. It was up in Rochester, New York. They had all the different events, and I saw many of the current world champions in 1978 at that tournament. So it was really great to see the best in the world playing at that early in my frisbee career. I did become very interested in freestyle and continued with that up until the early 80s. I was living in West Palm Beach, Florida, and that's where I first got introduced to disc golf. We were playing with ground baskets at that time, but I really enjoyed it. And when I came back to Pittsburgh that summer, summer of 1980, I decided to set up a course up at Flagstaff Hill, object style. At that time, there were other frisbee players congregating up in that area, and we did a lot of freestyle, and particularly on the Wednesday and Sunday night movies. We would get together and freestyle, and we'd also play disc golf, and we played double disc courts, and that's where I met most of the people who founded the Pittsburgh Flying Disc Society. Met Jay Gary, I met KB, Steve Coman, Matt Meow, Matt Wolf, Rex Nordheimer. That's to name a few of the early guys. And we decided we wanted a disc golf course, one with the baskets. And we were working with the city parks, and we were running tournaments in the very early 80s, the Hacky Sack Frisbee Festivals, which we used to hold downtown at Point Park. And we finally did get the funding, thanks to the Hunt Foundation, for our first course, which Steve Coman designed in Shenley Park. At that time, I really had a goal in mind that I wanted to be a world champion in disc golf. And I knew that when the baskets were put in that I could finally learn how to really play the game, learn how to putt and use the baskets. And it took me 3 years when it was installed in spring of '88 till '91. So Shenley Park has just been a wonderful thing for me, and I still play it quite regularly.
Some of the events, initial events that brought people together in Pittsburgh to play Frisbee were the junior Frisbee contests that Wham-O sponsored, that actually got kids to play Frisbee games, and if they did well enough on these contests, they could advance to regional and even national competitions. We had a couple of different groups of kids from Pittsburgh that actually ended up going to California to play Frisbee at the Rose Bowl in these junior Frisbee contests. And they were originally run by city parks in Pittsburgh. And we, members of our club, our sort of nascent group of Frisbee players, would come to those junior Frisbee contests and be the staff and help show kids how to throw a Frisbee and teach them some of the different kinds of throws that they would use in these competitions. So the junior Frisbee contests, I think, back in early 1980s were really important kind of things for our club members to get involved in and be staff members for. The Hacky Sack and Frisbee Festival was a great day at Point State Park. We demonstrated flying disc sports and games, hacky sack games, and we had 1,000 people at the Point State Park throwing Frisbees, kicking footbags, playing ultimate, playing disc golf, seeing how far they could throw a Frisbee, seeing how many times they could consecutively kick a footbag. It was a festival of flight and fun.
It was really big. It was so exciting. It was the beginning of Frisbee and hacky sack and disc golf in Pittsburgh in the early 80s. It was great to be a part of that.
Well, I started playing ultimate back in college, University of Pittsburgh. Spent a lot of my summer times playing at Flagstaff Hill, playing ultimate. And then 1988, they opened the Frisbee golf course in Shenley Park. And I was like, this is kind of cool, go check it out. So I took my ultimate disc, bought a disc at the course, at the festival, and I've been hooked ever since.
The first time my brother and I played Shenley Park, we were alone. We had not met any other disc golfers. We had a vague notion of how the game was played. We were pretty much following the instructions on the tee signs. And of course we did what all new players do. Threw it way up in the air, way out to the left. But we were able to muddle through the course, and it was fun, but it was not as exciting or as thrilling as we had kind of anticipated. So I personally put my disc golf discs in the closet, and Sid, on the other hand, looked up other local courses. He made his way up to Nob Hill at Warrendale and called me from the course saying, "Dave, you have got to come see these people play disc golf. They don't play like you and I were playing. These guys can actually throw a disc for a long, long way." So we packed up the car the following weekend. I came up with him, and I met a lot of PFDS members. I was absolutely stunned at how far and how accurately somebody could throw one of these plastic discs. And I have never looked back. I have played the sport as often as I could since then.
Some of the first Frisbee games that I remember playing in Pittsburgh involved ultimate Frisbee players. And playing Frisbee golf in Shenley Park at using trash cans and telephone poles as the targets. And meeting on Sunday morning and setting up a double disc court in front of Phipps Conservatory and playing with 3 other people, a game called DDC, or Double Disc Court. Those were kind of the 3 event Frisbee games that we were playing early on in the 1980s. Ultimate was probably the most organized of all of those, and even today still is. There were college teams at Pitt and at Carnegie Mellon that eventually spawned a club team in Pittsburgh. And now there are 26 high school teams in an organized league in Pittsburgh playing ultimate Frisbee, that team sport. But we would play for fun too. We would just show up at the lawn outside of the Cathedral Learning in Pitt and play in our bare feet until it got dark. Playing disc golf in Shenley Park. That Shenley Park was kind of a focus for a lot of the disc activities. It's central of Pittsburgh, and there was just some open spaces, and people tended to congregate there. But we had an object course around Flagstaff Hill, and again we'd use trees and telephone poles as the targets, and we'd just fly all over the park throwing frisbees at things and keeping track of our score and having a great time. The DDC games that we'd play on the lawn in front of Phipps Conservatory. It was a nice flat spot. Sunday morning seemed like a good day to get together, and we just would set up a court with some cones, 2 courts with cones, and play for hours. Those were kind of the first games I remember playing with other people. Most people have probably played Frisbee with themselves, but throwing the Frisbee up into the wind and seeing if they can catch it before it falls onto the ground, and seeing how high they could get it to go up and how long they can keep it in the air. That's a game called Maximum Time Aloft, and there's actually a competition that we used in state championships that we ran here in Pittsburgh in the early 1980s, that you can play Frisbee alone. PFDS formally organized in 1988 in order to partner with the city to put in the disc golf course at Shenley Park. Before that, we were a loose organization, and people who played some games, put on some events, some gatherings like the Hacky Sack and Frisbee Festival. But we needed to be a legal entity in order to partner with city parks to put that disc golf course in at Shenley Park in 1988. When the Shenley Park disc golf course opened, we had a tournament to christen it, a disc golf tournament. But we also had other Frisbee events as part of that celebration, I guess you'd call it. And we had freestyle, and we had MTA, maximum time aloft, and we had double disc court. That was sort of a dry run. We got our feet wet in running tournaments, and we decided that we could do it even bigger and better. So the following year, in 1989, we hosted the Pennsylvania Flying Disc Championships at Shenley Park. It included disc golf, but we also crowned state champions in freestyle, in maximum time aloft, in distance, and in double disc court. And we had players from all over the state, from Philadelphia, from Harrisburg, from Erie, come to Pittsburgh to play in that state championship.
The Pittsburgh Flying Disc Open in 1989 was my first win for a PDGA victory. It was really great, and it really motivated me to practice more and improve my game. Also, we had quite a few really good players from out of state and from Canada that came down for the tournament. It was really fantastic to see all these great players on the park that I played with just my friends. So the PFDO, for me, has raised my level of my game and competition so much because of the people we attract to come play. We've had so many world champions come and play at the PFDOs. The level of competition is incredible. And of course, with our newer courses, it's just amazing the people that want to come and play our courses. The PFDO has been such a great tournament for over the years that I've competed in and played with some of the best players in the world.
I'm extremely excited to have the best players in the world come to Pittsburgh and play on our courses.
Watching the skill level that some of these people possess, people who come in from all over the world to play in our tournaments, is amazing. I watched Avery Jenkins throw a disc further and faster than anything I've ever seen in my life, and when it was over, my mouth was hanging open. I couldn't believe that I had just witnessed it. I have watched Elaine King take a moment out of the middle of a tournament to coach a young female player, to show her how to improve her shot, how to shave strokes from her game while she was competing against that same person. The character that these professionals bring to us and let us get exposed to is amazing. It is one of the reasons that I fell in love with the sport, and one of the reasons that I hope to play it all of my life.
One person that comes to my mind who's won more tournaments here in Pittsburgh than anyone else, and that's Elaine King. And what a wonderful person she is. What a great athlete and very good organizer, very active in the PDGA, just all around good person. It's just great to have her come to our tournaments all the time. I've got to know her quite well over all these years.
Elaine King is one of my favorite people. I always loved playing with her and learned a lot from her over the years. Scott Stokely, that was in the amateur, the world distance champion, and playing in a foursome with him and watching him throw was just amazing.
It was really great to meet world-class players like Steve Weiskup. Back when I remember first meeting him back in the late 80s, he was the top player, and he was the person whom I looked up to the most, and I tried to emulate what he did. I would think, what would Steve Weiskup do in a situation like this? How would he throw it? How would he set up his body posture and everything? I tried to just imitate everything he did. I said, if it works for Steve Weiskup, maybe it'll work for me. So Steve Weiskup was a really good influence on me, and I really think he was instrumental in helping me become a world champion.
Well, the PFDO, the Pittsburgh Flying Disc Open, for 25 years has been a stop on the Professional Disc Golf Tour. There have been people like Johnny Sias, who's the 1988 professional men's world champion, who have come many times because he played in the first of the PFDOs that we held at Frick Park, but he has come and played at, I think, all of the other editions of the tournament that have been held at other courses as well, including Nob Hill Park and Moraine State Park and even Deer Lakes Park. So Johnny Size is one of the legends of the game. He's in the Hall of Fame. He just 2 years ago won the Grandmaster world title. But other players from Canada, Elaine King, Mike Sullivan, Brian Henniger, these players from the Toronto area that were sort of the instigators of disc golf in their region have come to Pittsburgh multiple times, have won world titles, but have come to play here because I think there's been a sort of a reciprocal bond established. We've played in their tournaments. They come here to play in ours as well, and they keep coming back because they're friends and they like the competition. They feel challenged by the courses. Some of the people I've named have been playing disc golf for a lot of years or in the Hall of Fame, but more recently, players like Paul Macbeth, the current world men's professional champion, have come to Pittsburgh to play our tournaments. It's on the tour and it's a stop for them and on their job, I guess, as a professional athlete. But they have come back a couple of times already now that they've tasted the challenge and they've won the money and they've been rewarded by the show we put on. Ricky Wysocki, who's one of the youngest and fastest rising stars, has played in tournaments we had here when he was 17 years old, and now he's one of the top players in the world.
Mike Moser from Delaware. He's a regular at the PFDO. Loves the courses. He's always liked Pittsburgh. And, we became real good friends with him when he was just an amateur. I remember his first year playing amateur, and we were practicing with him at a course in Delaware. And he just came and hung out with us Pittsburgh guys. He seemed to really like us. And he just started showing up at our tournaments and just winning one after another. The guy's amazing. He just keeps going. Incredible. The Jenkins were regulars at our tournament, and they've come for many years. Leroy, Sharon, Avery, and Valerie. And I remember Avery and Valerie when they were real little. And boy, was Valerie such a cute little girl. And she's turned out to be such an incredible world champion. But I'll never forget Avery throwing a hole-in-one on hole 15 up at Nob Hill at the PFDO to win that tournament. He was 2 down at that point. That was one of the most exciting shots I've ever seen in disc golf. Incredible. What a powerhouse. It's so great to have those guys show up at our tournaments. And they're just such wonderful representatives of the sport. One person that really stands out a lot is Barry Schultz, coming to our tournaments. Setting the course records, watching him play, just amazing. It just blows my mind. And particularly last year, we had the world champion Paul Macbeth playing, and we got to watch the final 9. And oh my God, the level of play is just so amazing. These guys are just superhuman. I just can't believe it. It's just so wonderful to see them play on our courses here in Pittsburgh.
Well, I'm very much a proud member of the PFDS because of all of the great things that we've done over the years and what we will do in the future.
PFDS has been a vehicle to get things done. For me, it's been what we needed to be able to play ball with big organizations. The city, Pittsburgh, with townships, with state organizations that run their recreational facilities. PFDS has given us sort of a standing to be able to meet and talk with them about what can be done. But PFDS has become some things other than that too. I mean, it's been a relationship with a lot of people for a long time that I wouldn't have, for me personally, I wouldn't have been friends with otherwise. People I've known for probably people I've been friends with longer than for any other reason in my life. playing Frisbee. So, you know, the folks that were coming out to Shenley Park and throwing Frisbees around just for the heck of it have ended up being the people that I'm still throwing Frisbees around at Shenley Park with. That I call up and say, you want to meet and play around the golf. So PFDS has become more than just that vehicle, that thing to get things done, and it's been family, I guess. You know, people say that in figurative ways, but you know, the other lifetime members of the club are they're definitely a kind of family.
We forged a working partnership with City Parks going back 30 years, and we've developed the course as a result of that, with a combination of city labor, that's the union guys, and our volunteers. And we work together to do all the necessary work, not only to get the course in, but to make improvements and to maintain the course. And lessons we've learned from Shenley Park, we've carried to the other courses as well, Deer Lakes, Moraine, Nob Hill, and several others. Because just building the course is not what it's all about. It's once the baskets go in, we have to maintain, we have to promote the sport, and we have to bring people out to play it, because that's what it's for. It's for the people to play. And that's the beautiful thing about disc golf. It's for everybody to play.
Forming a public and private partnership between our club and with recreation departments in a municipality has been a really good thing for us as in growing our club. It's established our relationship as a organization that does what they say they're going to do, and for our parks partners, they've gotten some first-class recreational facilities out of the bargain. We've both put into it monetarily in terms of manpower, energy, and time, and I think we both really benefited from that. Our club has grown to the point where if there's some municipality is thinking about putting a disc golf course in their park, they know that we're the club, we're the people to do it for them, to get it done for them. We've put in 8 courses in Western Pennsylvania since 1988, and so I think we've sort of built a reputation for doing a good job and programming those courses even after they're in the ground, running events, leagues, doing learn to play clinics, and I guess at the sort of the top of the list, the world-class competitive tournaments for professional disc golfers. So we've programmed those courses as well as just designed them and installed them, and I think that's what's made us the go-to kind of club, at least in the area, and why we keep getting new people involved in what we're doing.
In addition to running high-caliber tournaments, our club has been very involved in the community as well. The idea being running clinics, having festivals, organizing leagues, trying to get younger people to come out and play, families, and we provide a good environment for people to come out and learn the sport and play. That's what the idea of disc golf is. I mean, there's so many different levels you can appreciate it on. You can go out and try to become a professional disc golfer and win a world title. Or you can just go out and enjoy yourself, enjoy an activity, meet new people, enjoy the outdoors. That's the idea. Get people outdoors and good, healthy exercise.
Well, disc golf courses in a park is more than just kind of plant it and leave it. Our club has been an ongoing steward is a good word of that facility and of those parks. I think we have an ethic in what we do that we want to make those parks better. We want to not just improve them for the humans that are using those facilities, but in many cases we try to care for the land, and we try to care for the flora that are there. So we've done things like efforts to eradicate invasive species, things like wild grapevine and multiflora rose that aren't native and have begun to choke out some of the other native plants. We've done things to mitigate erosion on the courses that we put in, to not increase the amount of silt in the streams that they feed into. And I think we're conscious of the footprint that we're leaving in those parks. And so you'll find most disc golfers, and our club has a sort of a tradition of doing cleanup in those courses, picking up trash that have been left there. And sometimes that trash is left by disc golfers. But we take care of those parks, those parts of the park. In fact, some of one of the best reasons we have given to townships that want to put a course into their park is that the disc golfers that will play there will be their best eyes and police forces in those parks. That they will be the ones that will ensure that there aren't crazy activities going on there. In many cases, problem actors that have been in the parks before a disc golf course came have moved on, and have been displaced by people that care for that park, and that want to keep it the way, or improve it from what they found it. A disc golf course provides things for people, even if they're not interested in competing in a tournament. Just the exercise of being able to go out, and you end up walking a mile and a half, 2 miles, playing a disc golf, around a disc golf. There's a real benefit to just being out and breathing the fresh air and getting that exercise. But I think there can also be sort of an internal focus that people can hone by playing disc golf, even if it's just going out and playing around by themselves, where they just use it as time to meditate on what they're doing and tune out everything else that's going on in their life, the stresses of work or whatever may come to them. Playing around a disc golf allows me, and I think this for other people too, allows somebody just to focus on something that's pure, and it's sort of a cleansing exercise. It's a meditation of sorts. I think disc golf, having a disc golf course to do that on, is a really positive thing for community health.
I play disc golf because it provides rewards in many different areas. For one, it's great exercise. Two, it's something that I can do for the rest of my life and always continue to get better and improve my game. There's so many aspects of the game that I work on when I go out and play. But most of all, I do it all because I enjoy it so much. It's so challenging. It's exhilarating to throw a disc and actually have it go where you want it to go. Or maybe sometimes it goes right in the basket. It's just incredible. And it's wonderful for people who are just getting ready to start and they don't need to make a big commitment like going to the gym or having to do aerobic class or anything like that. You just come out with a disc and you have some fun, and you're going to get good exercise and get in shape.
Well, what really gratifies me about putting in a disc golf course is when I'm out playing the course or working on the course, and a family of 6 people or a group of friends come through, and they've just started playing the game, and they don't really care about keeping score. They're not watching about whether the disc went out of bounds and whether they had to get a penalty stroke. They're just having a great time. They're enjoying themselves, being outside and doing something together. And that, for me, has always been the thing that is most gratifying about the courses that we put in.
It has been extremely rewarding to work with the people who make up the PFDS over the years. We have built new courses. We've introduced people to the game. We have made it possible for people who otherwise might not be able to play. We've contributed food to the local food bank. It's rewarding on many levels. There's the physical aspect of getting out and doing something that's fun and traveling around, meeting new people. There is the sense of satisfaction of contributing to a growing sport. Seeing people introduced to disc golf for the first time is awesome. It's just awesome.